Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed faculty, distinguished guests, and the brilliant minds of IIT Madras, a very good evening to you all. Today, we are honored to welcome a leader of remarkable distinction, the President of Tamil Nadu unit of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Thiru K. Annamalai. Thiru Annamalai is the youngest president of the BJP in its history, taking charge of the position at the age of 37. Before taking the helm of the BJP in Tamil Nadu, Annamalai had a distinguished career in the Indian Police Service in Karnataka, marked by a commitment to public service and a proactive approach to law enforcement, because of which he was popularly regarded as Karnataka's Singham, symbolizing his courage, integrity, and dedication towards justice. His transition from a career in law enforcement to politics marked a significant shift, bringing a fresh perspective and a dynamic leadership to the political arena. As the president of Tamil Nadu BJP, Thiru K. Annamalai has actively contributed to shaping the party's strategies and outreach in the state, even with his recent ongoing Padayatra called Yen Man, Yen Makkal, which literally translates to My Land, My People, thus reflecting a commitment to addressing the problems and difficulties of the common people. Today, we have the privilege of gaining insights from a leader who has not only served in the police force with a distinction, but has also taken on the responsibility of steering the BJP in Tamil Nadu. Let us extend a warm IIT Madras welcome to Thiru K. Annamalai, and eager to hear his thoughts on the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead of our great nation. I now request the Director of IIT Madras, Professor V. Kamakoti, and the Dean of Students, Professor Satyanarayana Gummadi, to facilitate Thiru K. Annamalai with an Angavastram. Thank you, sir. And without any more delay, let us now welcome Tamil Nadu BJP President Thiru K. Annamalai to the podium with a huge round of applause. I also invite the interviewers, Sumit Deshmukh, and Asha to the stage.
It's so very nice to have you with all of us today, and I think without much further ado, we'll just get started into the chat. So with that nice introduction of Ishan, we get a sense of how interesting the trajectory of your life's been, but we would still like to hear it from your own voice. So can you share a brief overview of your journey growing up, from Thottampatti to becoming the state BJP president of Tamil Nadu?
Thank you so much to both of you and friends who are here. And IIT Madras is an iconic institution in our country, and possibly the next 25 years, I'm very sure it is going to play a greater role than what it has played over the time before 2022. So you'll have a very important role in the next 25 years in shaping up the country's growth. So I'm very excited that students sitting in this auditorium, you will be championing India's cause 2047 when you talk about Vikshit Bharat. And some of you have to create global companies sitting here, and some of you have to create employments to lakhs of people, solve India's problem, put India's map in the global sphere. So I'm very happy that today our discussion, probably from my field, policing for a little bit of time, and politics for a lot of time, and probably the future vision that we as a party have, and probably me as a person have. So that I think might contribute maybe 0.5%, 1% to you are thinking about politics and the future of India's growth, and how as a political party we are looking at the next 25 years. So I'm very glad I got this opportunity to share some of our insights and thoughts with you. At the same time, I know that you are truly brilliant guys. You can pick up anything at a pace that is unequal, unrivaled, and that has brought you to IIT Madras. You can just pick it up, whatever we say, and probably you will add your own thinking to it. So whatever we discuss, I'm sure it will help me, help you, and help others to reassess, reprioritize. And probably it is an opportunity for me also to remove some of the negative thoughts, or probably some of the negative things people might have against our party and against me or against some other person also. That is also I'm using this forum as an opportunity. Now, talk about myself, I thought I'll talk more about the country, more about the economy, more about politics, and I'll take very little time to describe me as a person. So I was born in a small village in Karur district called Tottambatti. We have about 32 houses there. So the first generation guy in my family, me and my sister, both of us got into degree. Both of us, the first generation. Then it's a very small village, 32 villages, you can just imagine. And from there, typical school, then two choice in front of me, either take an engineering or take medicine. I thought probably I'm not good enough to do medicine. You have to study more, so I chose engineering. So just to cut the long story short, maybe till the age of 21, 22, I never had any plan in life. I just allowed that the life is taking me. So since I chose engineering, I landed up in Coimbatore, PFG College of Technology. I got into a 5-year engineering course, and which probably the second and third year is very important to me because that is when I realized I never wanted to be an engineer after getting into engineering. I'm not sure how many of you sitting in this hall realize. But what to do? Second and third year, you realize you're not cut out for the engineering world. Then I thought, at that point of time, it's very rare when in 2002, when I entered engineering, 2007, I passed out. I took a break here. So many of you guys might take a break here also. It is unthought of. We people never encourage people to take a break here. The two person of my background, I took a break here for a year. Just wanted to realize where I wanted to go. I thought my education is incomplete. Let me do something, probably an MBA, general MBA, understand nuances. Then I can figure out what I want in life. Wrote CAT, got into IIM Lucknow. So did 2 years of my MBA there. 2010-11, I got a fair degree of where I wanted to go. I wanted to get into public service. I wanted to get into serving the civil society. And even then, the option of politics was still there. My first year MBA, normally in IIMs, you have this option of doing an internship. So I was the early guys to do an internship with the political party. So first year, I took a break. I never went for a corporate internship. I interned with the political party, Mr. Vijayakant's political party, at that point of time, DMDK in 2009. 3 months I was with them. Then after my internship, I realized I'm not good enough to get into politics. It's a very tough field, unforgiving for a first generation guy like me. That too in a state like Tamil Nadu that is dominated by Srima power, money power and muscle power and everything. So I quietly looked at what are the other options I have. 26/11 happened, the Mumbai. That had a lingering thought, big motivation for me to write civil service because you need some push to get into civil service. And even if you're intelligent, unless you don't have that motive to get into civil service, a lot of guys don't make it. That's why civil service is designed for people of above average ability and aptitude. But unless you have that calling factor, I see a lot of intelligent guys just going to the wayside because the calling factor is not there. For me, the calling factor was the Mumbai attack, somebody entering into our country in 2008, November 26, killing people just like that, not being held accountable, politics just wasting time, telling the Americans, asking for a neutral observer, come talk to Pakistanis, find a way, and nothing was happening. So that was the push that was needed. Wrote civil service, got into IPS, Karnataka, 9.5 years. Very good period of my life. I still enjoy every moment of my khaki. But there's always that time when you figure out that you want to get out of that cage. It is preparing you for something more meaningful and significant. 2019, May 28, I decided enough is enough. And this is the time for me to really pursue what I wanted. Get into grassroots, work with people. So quit policing. Started a foundation called We the Leaders Foundation. Even now it is active. Ran it for a year with about 8,800 volunteers we have. We're active in a couple of districts in Tamil Nadu, especially in the western part of Tamil Nadu. Very active with it for a year. Organic farming, skilling, entrepreneurship, all those things. Then you are 36, 37 with an IPS background, sitting in a village doing something. Then you develop a curiosity. People develop a curiosity. People come calling. They ask, what are you doing? What are you doing in a village? Why not this? Why not that? That's how I got pulled into politics. So frankly speaking, I'm an accidental politician. And I never really wanted to get into politics because I always felt politics is not cut out for people like me who see life in just black and white. I don't see it in grey. And maybe that is a problem I always have. For me, it is either correct and wrong. And there is nothing called I operate in the middle. Politics, most of the time you have to be in the middle. You have to do all kinds of deals. You got to get all kinds of people along. And that tests your morality to the limit. And your morality is so tested. And many a times you got to do certain things. You're so uncomfortable in the short term because it is good for the long term. And many of the things that you have to do in the short term, even if it might appear good in the short term, it is really harmful in the long term. So every day it is that kind of things, whom you align, what kind of people you mingle with, and what kind of people you give a responsibility to. So here I am sitting in front of you. So maybe this is my life over the last 37, 38 years. Thank you.
Very interesting indeed. But before we move on to the next set of questions, I'm just curious to know what kind of effect did your college life have on you as a person? Like, how did your background in mechanical engineering and your education in institutes like IIMs influenced your approach to leadership and governance?
For me, engineering was, you all know, I think you are engineering guys here, sitting in one of the best colleges in the world. And engineering tried to make me as a methodical guy, my professors tried their level best to make me as a process man. But somehow I resisted that. I'm always a human guy. And that's why equations I never do well, mathematics I never do well. I have to see something in hand to realize. When you talk about electrons flowing, I never understand what is that. Hydrodynamics, I'm very bad. So I never had that aptitude, sir. To be frank, I was a very bad engineering student, frankly speaking. Not very good in engineering, because for me, that is the kind of mindset I had. I have to feel something, see something, only then I could understand that in the class. So I'm never good with theory. So since many of you are good with theory, you are sitting here. And that is the time in second year I felt, oh, this is not for me. And people said, you have to learn some computer course. I'm talking of 2002, 3. And I went to one computer course. Just for 10 minutes, I said, it is not. What is this equation? What is it going to give? I'm not here. But that is the time I realized, what am I going to do with my life? So it is 5 years now. I'm in second year. I realized I'm not going to do it. 3 years. What am I going to do? Then I started immersing myself in a lot of extracurricular activities. So part of a couple of clubs. I still remember when the tsunami struck Tamil Nadu, the coastal part. And I went to my principal, I said, I want to go there and serve. Principal said, no, you're not part of the national service scheme. I said, no, tomorrow I'm joining. But I said, no, guys who are part of the NSS will go, but not you. I said, okay, is there anything vacant in there? If I have to lift something, I can lift and give it to them. Even a sack of rice or anything, you tell me. They said, people are there, but there is photographer, there is a vacancy. And I asked my friend in the night, a person, Karthik in NSS, I said, can you teach me photography overnight? So now you have all these hackathon courses, overnight photography. He was like, are you mad? No, the principal told me there is a photographer role. I really want to be there in Nagargovil, tsunami struck area, but I have to learn photography. So overnight I learned photography. Next day I convinced the NSS coordinator I'm a good photographer, went there. When the pictures came, it was either a hand or a leg or a part of a body. And the reason I'm trying to tell you this story is, that motivated me. So I found, okay, my calling is somewhere here. So unless you explore yourself, you'll never know what is your calling. When the campus gives you so many opportunities, clubs, personality club, character club, NSS, you have dramatics, all kind of things. So for me, I pushed myself to get into uncomfortable situation in the campus. And I also used to stammer. And a guy coming from village, Tamil medium, then picking up English, your mind has to process that. So I used to go to the campus people and ask my professors, can I give a vote of thanks? Can I start with a simple vote of thanks? And can you ask me to go and give this introduction like the gentleman who gave me very, very beautifully, he said, a lot of nice words which I think I don't deserve also. And slowly I prepared myself. So campus, to put it short, is the place where I ironed out my deficiency. I knew what I'm bad. I knew what I'm better. So I wanted to improve my better part of my personality. I wanted to slowly remove the small things that is hindering my personality development. So that I used my engineering very fully. Third year, fourth year, fifth year, thoroughly I used it. Travel, get into uncomfortable zones of public speaking. I want to speak, but I'm not good in speaking. Better my English. So that is the most important thing I remember on the campus. So that gave me the courage to take a break here. And my father was against it. He said, look, we all come from a village and you are trying to chase something which is not visible. And why can't you take a job that is in hand? Why can't you, sorry, I think I'm not seeing this side. And why can't you take a job and settle down? It was the hardest thing in life for me at the age of 21. 22, the hardest thing was me to say no And I never knew a single person in my life who took a break here. I never knew a single person. I never knew there is something called break here. Then 1 year I again explored what I want to do. Should I do this? So I would say college helped me to move from a village boy to a person who is searching his identity. What am I going to do in life? So that gave me the courage to resist a lot of tendency to pick up something that is good in the short run. Pick up this, take up a job that, which it gave me the courage by 5th year, because saying no is the hardest thing, sister. And especially in IIT Chennai, when you have so many opportunities in front of you, day zero companies just landing up and everybody wants to pick the smartest brain in the world. And I think it will require a lot of courage the more higher you go in life to say no. When you don't have anything, it is easier to say no. In IIT Chennai, how can you say no? When there is everything in front of you. I hope and pray for you also, the college over the next 4-5 years, whatever courses you are doing, 5-year course, 4-year course, it will help you to understand what you want to do in life. And probably if at the end of 4th year, 5th year, if you can pick up a clear yes and clear no, I think IIT has done its job. That is how I see my college.
Thank you for your answer, sir. So, as a representative of people and civil servant, there was always an opportunity for you to uphold the constitutional values. So, then what made you to choose politics as your career?
Same constitution made me to choose politics. Frankly speaking, I think it is some Greek philosopher who said, the highest calling in public life is politics. That's the highest calling. That's why we call it as political science. Because there is science to the whole idea of politics. And if you go on Google, you find a Greek philosopher who has written a book called How to Win Elections. He has given us science to winning an election. Thousands of years back he has written. And people like Plato at different points of time, they wanted to find out philosopher king, how to create a guardian who can rule our country very well. So they applied science to it. Take a child out, separate them from parents, teach them separately, and grow them up so that they become philosopher king. So Greeks applied science to politics. And that's why they call it political science. Whether it is working now or not is a different question. And for me, I'm taking some extra time to answer this question because it's not an easy answer for me. Why policing and why politics? Why this shift after about 9.5 years? I remember day one in Labasna, the Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy of Administration, when a batch like this, IAS, IPS and IRS, we all sit together, foreign service. It's a 3 months course. We all have to do a combined course to get to know each other, cross assimilation. And there was an IPS officer who came and he was giving a lecture. He said, I know all of you guys are smart and you have cracked one of the toughest exams in India. And of course, many IITs are there, many IIMs are there, people from AIMS, some of the best institutes are there in that room. He said, the day one when you all get into your job, you think you are the smartest in the world because you've aced the toughest exam and we are preparing you. But you have to understand, a constable is more smarter than you. That when the day you realize that, that is the day your ego gets blown out. And that is the day you truly become a people's person. He gave an example. So I think he was allocated a cadre, probably Bihar or Jharkhand. That point of time it is Bihar mostly. And there was a case they had to hunt down a dacoit. Searching, they couldn't find that guy. So one day they located, okay, probably this dacoit is coming to this house in the night. So immediately the young ASP, the person who was talking there, he was a young ASP then. He called his whole team, he made them to stand parade, he said left, right, center, stand in attention. He said, come on, we know the dacoit is going to this house, we are going to surround that house, we are going to get that dacoit. You know, we are very brash and very confident straight after training. And there was a constable who was trying to raise his hand. He was like, keep quiet. The other guy was trying to say, he's like, keep quiet. And this is the plan, let us all go surround the house, let us do. They surrounded the house, 12 hours, nobody came out. 14 hours, nobody came out. Then this young ASP said, time to barge in. I'm going to barge in and anybody who is willing to come behind me, come. So they broke the door, he went inside, there was no dacoit in the room. And just then from the behind, that person put a country-made gun to his head because he was standing behind the door. When he barged in, he was standing behind the door, he put a country. So that is the time he realized, oh, there is somebody behind me. And it was a literal hand-to-hand combat. He said that I could realize the death in my eyes because the gun is there. And we were fighting with hand-to-hand. He shouldn't shoot me. And literally he had to chew his face. And the young ASP has to bite his face, nose, ears. He has to chew him to bring him under control. And later because since he saw death in his eyes, after the incident, the roll call happened, everybody, the debriefing. And he asked the constable, what are you trying to tell me? You are raising your hand in the morning during the briefing. He said, no sir, what I was trying to tell is, when a person is inside that house, for natural call he has to come out. So let us wait outside and catch him. This is a very simple thing. And so many fundas and training and hand-to-hand combat and Krav Maga and all kinds of things they teach you in NP. He said, look, you got to have human intelligence. The day you think you got getting human intelligence, that comes from society. That comes from keeping the ears and eyes and everything open, all the senses. And when you start picking up these cues from people, that makes you a better person. So I never forget that moment. For me, it was like an epiphanic moment. It just opened my eyes. It said, look, there is a native intelligence out and let us go chase it. Same thing happened to me in a different context. ASP, day one. Because once I tell the story and the shift only, probably I can do justice to your question. I had a fantastic driver. Young guy in ASP, Udupi district, Karkala. We had a Tata Sumo. He will drive, I'll be sitting in the front. And I'll be panicking. Maybe first week into policing, law and order, that had a lot of communal issues. Hindu-Muslim fight here and there. And my driver would be driving and saying, sir, oh, don't worry, sir, everything is taken care. If you go there, after the riot is over or in the middle of riot, you will have five people waiting for you. From the Hindu side, 1, 2, 3, this person will be there. From the Muslim side, 1, 2, 3 will be there. They will be making this demand to you. You will be saying this. Either guy will make this demand. Then you will say this, sir, problem solved. I was like, who is this fellow? For everything he has got a solution. So I was observing for 1 week, 2 weeks. It was just repeating that pattern. Then one day house theft, some 80 kg, 80 gram of gold missing in a rural house. We were going, this fellow, I went inside, I was searching mode of entry, weapons used, and how did they take it, any fingerprint is there. The dog was inside trying to take the smell. He came inside, he looked at it. And he used to speak Tulu. He took his phone, he spoke to somebody in Tulu, and then he told me, sir, it is this fellow who did it. You tell that inspector to go lift that fellow. And I was like, okay. On that day night, I called him to I was staying in a small house. I said, come, we'll have dinner, chalo. He said, no, sir, I'm a constable, I'm not supposed to have dinner with you. Come here, we will sit down, let us have dinner together. I said, how do you know this? How do you give me solutions for every bloody problem in this society, and why are you a driver? He told me, no, sir, I am a driver for 17 years. Same area I'm driving. I have seen ASPs like you, 3 people. I have seen 6 DYSPs, Deputy Superintendent of Police, not IPS, same rank, Deputy Superintendent of Police. Same issue happens in a cycle, sir. May, this happens. Rainy season, dacoit comes. Summer season, riots come. And I keep going. I see the same pattern. Then I know who would have done it. So that day, you remember, sir, that HBT case, HBT is housebreaking theft. I went inside, I saw. The same guy has done a similar one 6 years before. Because he used one crowbar to open it and that is the entry. I said, this is the guy. So that was something great for me. Because for me, I felt, when I wrote a book also after I left IPS, I dedicated to the constables whom I worked with me. I said, this book is dedicated to all the constables who are with me. My dedication. Reason is, I think somehow we allow our ranks and big things that comes with life. Tomorrow you all will become very big. Some of the best in the world, and people will be waiting outside. Somebody, even to get appointments, I think we all have to take your time and come. But we just have to understand, the guy who's standing outside the door, he has got 100 times more native intelligence than us. Because even in a boardroom, the guy who's opening that door, he keeps seeing the CEO's mood coming in, CEO's mood going out. And he knows the small chit-chat that happens outside. He picks up everything over 10, 12 years. If you ask him, he will have a board solution better than the board member sitting inside. Because he picks up in the high tea they do, they pick up in the people who come out and comment about what is happening. The same thing for me. So then, for me, the concept of rank, ego, I'm somebody big, I'm superior, I'm rank-wise thing. Then I started immersing myself more in the ground. In the Karnataka 9 years, I resisted going to a city. I said I don't want city, I want rural area. I served continuously in rural area, small towns and good people, important people. Moment they posted me to a city, Mr. Kumarasamy was the chief minister then, he told me you should come to the city to work, enough of rural. I resisted, I said, sir, I'm not a city guy, sir. You put me in city, 50% of my time is protocol. I have to go salute somebody, receive them in the airport, take them in the car, wait outside when important meetings happen, put me in rural. He said, no, yeah, city land grabbing is happening, you come. The most uncomfortable timing for me was being in the city. I was the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Bangalore South, very important area. People love to go there, but day one I hated. Big people, all corporates, I'm meeting those kind of people. I'm meeting that young guy, a guy who comes with the veti, torn, comes to my office, he'll say, sir, he has tried to plunder my land, he has taken this, he has taken that. So those are the guys I was used to. I had an open door policy as a superintendent of police. Anybody can just walk in and no questions asked. The more higher I went in the service, I felt I'm just getting cut off with the people with whom I enjoyed working, grassroots. Then in my mind, I thought it's time to leave, but I never knew what to do. And 2018, I went for a Kailash pilgrimage, 53-day trip. No cell phones, nothing, cut out in the zone, you were there. And away from technology, it gave a lot of purpose to my life. It said, look, take that risk. People might think you're stupid. And leaving IPS in 9 years, when somebody asks you, what do you want to do? You don't even have an answer to say, I want to do this. So the transition happened. So I want to do something else and politics happened. So what I'm trying to say, the shift is, I always wanted to work in the ground. That is getting continuously manifested from the college days. Go to Tsunami, be there, be a part of NSS, clean some toilet, build a compound wall outside a school. So always hands-on. You put me in a room, make me to do a meeting, I'm totally uncomfortable. So I can make it on record also as the BJP state president of Tamil Nadu. I must have gone to the office maybe 50 days in the last 3 years. I never go to office. I never go to office. I keep people, I say, you solve the problem. Send me reports, send me notes. Tell me where I should go. I tour like crazy. And I am in Yenman Yenmakkal Yatra, which he was kind enough to mention. So today I just finished 228 constituencies. I'm in the road for the continuous 6 months. And I'm in Chennai only because we have a lecture here. I immediately leave back to Viluppuram and I'm back there and we have a conclusion in about 4 or 5 days' time. The reason I'm trying to say is, I find a lot of joy in the ground because I see India transforming. In my eyes, I'm seeing how the ground is shifting. I see demography, I see development, I see all kinds of things in the ground. For me, I will comfortably do this. You put me in a room, you put me in some role, I'm totally uncomfortable. I want to keep this going for the next many, many years. Just be in the ground, silently work, build a party at the grassroots level. So this was always the motivation. Maybe the job title might change. I was a cop trying to solve some problem. I'm a politician trying to solve some problem. But the concept of being in the root is always there from my college days. That realization happened in the college. Sorry for the long answer, but I thought I should be very honest and truthful to you. But this is me.
Thank you for the amazing insight, sir. So, being an ex-IPS officer and a leader of a national party, you have seen a lot of instances where social justice was upheld and some where it was not. So, what is justice to you? And did the definition of justice change with the change in your career?
One of the toughest thing in life is to define the concept of justice. One of the very toughest thing to do, practically if you speak. Because at one end you have the concept of positive discrimination in our life. It's enshrined in the Constitution. 1950 when the Constitution came, it was there for 10 years. You extended it for 10 years. Every 10 years you give an extension. And you say there is a segment of society that is historically disadvantaged. I'm going to make sure they have a level playing field. The concept of reservation, the positive discrimination, which the Americans call and in India we call reservation. So one end of the justice spectrum is that. At other end of the justice spectrum, the concept of merit itself is seen differently. And you put 10 guys in the room and you give an exam paper to the 10 guys. And 10 guys score 10 different maybe marks, 99, 98, 97, 95. For me, merit doesn't mean the guy who scored 99 is standing first. In the traditional sense of merit, the guy who scored 99 is standing first. But for me, probably if you have seen the movie The 12th Fail, I'm sure IIT guys you must have seen it. And that guy has moved a mountain. And he has moved a mountain. Where he was and copying and cheating. From there where he went, losing his bag, going to Delhi in a flour mill, grinding, then cracking at 4th attempt, 5th attempt, then getting into service. So I think in India, the problem is there is an element of disadvantage to a segment of population in the rural area when they start their life. Parents not educated. For me, till 22, I'm not sure what to do. It is only college that gave me an idea of what to do. Good professors and students like this, they told me what to do. I remember I used to wear, even my dresses were old. My cousin's dress I used to wear. His shirt and pant after 5 years later will come to me. And that is the kind of life I had initially. And how do you define merit here? Is 99 the first rank, or a person who has moved a mountain and scored 97 is at a first rank? So, I don't have an answer. And my answer is not the right answer. And your answer is also not the right answer. So that is something we all have to appreciate and acknowledge. In a complex society like ours, when our current president, Madam Draupadi Murmu, if you look at her life, I'm not sure how many people have read through her life. Losing her husband, her daughter is still more like a clerk level in a bank, and wanted to quit after her husband's death, went to an ashram, dedicated herself to it. Then Modi ji became Prime Minister, called her back. Modi ji wanted her to be a governor. She became a governor. Then, the party wanted her to be the president of our country, and the first president from a tribal community. That is a great example of social justice, one end. But the kind of life Draupadi Murmu madam had, if you look at whatever trouble somebody can go through, she has gone through. And my kind answer and request to all of you is, as you live life, you will go through this complexity. The questions will come in your mind. What is right? What is right? When you start a startup and we will put a regulation saying that you have to hire this many people, 1/3 should be this, 1/3 board should be this. Sometimes you might resist. Is it a fair practice? Is it a good practice? Is it a great practice at the cutting edge level where India has to go 25 years from now? But this is a dilemma we all have to resolve collectively over the next 20-25 years. As we go through, communities that hasn't got representative will get representative. If you look at Modi ji's cabinet, it's a great example. Look at the Modi ji's cabinet. People from the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe community, highest representation, close to 19 people out of 76. If you look at the OBC representation, one of the highest. Again, technocrats representation, it's a proper basket mix. You have an Harvard educated former IAS, Ashwini Vaishnav in one end. You have a community which is never represented in Indian politics in the cabinet on one end. So it's a mix and match, it's a basket you all have to do. Everybody brings something to the table. Everybody brings that life, that journey, that churning, moving that mountain story they bring to the table. And somebody, a technocrat, brings technology to the table. So I think you should have this mindset in the next 25 years to resolve this internal dilemma within you. So that is justice for me. And there is no straight answer for justice. If there is a straight answer for justice, why should there be an appeal court? You appeal Sessions Court to High Court, then you appeal High Court to Supreme Court, then from Supreme Court you appeal to Constitutional Court, then from Constitutional Court you file a curative petition. So why do you do multiple appeals? Because you are not happy with one justice, you want to go one up, So I don't have a straight answer, sister or brother. So what I'm trying to say is, you have to resolve this complexity as you go in life. And make sure that you are fair, you are transparent, you are non-discriminatory. And many a times you have to give a leg up to somebody to come up. And many a time you have to push somebody to do it. So that is justice for me. And maybe it is theoretical if I speak now, but if you look at books written by Michael Sandel, some of the great professors in the US, he has written some of the greatest books on justice. And a very fascinating way they look at life. Right up to global commons, countries previously have polluted the environment, now we are paying the price. Now suddenly all of us sit in a COP table, conference of party table, and India wants a green fund. China is polluting more, it doesn't want to do. So there, it's so complex to negotiate what is justice for everybody. And the same thing happens in the human rights also. Some countries war, Russia and Ukraine. What is it? Russia's point of view is what? Ukraine's point of view is what? Gaza and Palestine, their point of view is what? Sri Lanka, their point of view is what? Even within India, political point of view is what? So it needs lot of human intelligence, picking up that emotional cues, and probably you realize, like a old wine, with age you get better with justice. Sorry for the long winding answer, but this is the best I could do. Thank you.
Thank you for that interesting insight, sir. We'd like to know your view on, right now the trend of deep fakes and fake news, they are very rampant. So even a lot of public figures, they also fall prey to it. And even our Prime Minister Modi, he's been cautioning us of its danger. So what are your thoughts on the critical role of accurate information in today's society? And additionally, how do you perceive the prevailing trend of misinformation and its impact on various aspects of our lives?
Very important and interesting question, especially inside the IIT campus. But I would say, I'm asking this question back to you because I want an answer so that I can frame my answer around it again. Do you think you're traveling more than your grandparents? You're traveling more than your grandparents? You think yes? Okay. Do you think you're traveling more than your great-grandparents? Think you're doing it? Yes. More than your grandparents? Okay. So I'm going to read out something for you. So you both are sitting here. How are you sitting here? Let us track that genealogy. You're sitting here, you're sitting here. Let us track your genealogy and your genealogy. You had 2 parents, father, mother, you're here. 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 second great-grandparents, 32 third great-grandparents, 64 fourth great-grandparents, 128 fifth great-grandparents, 256 sixth great-grandparents, 512 seventh great-grandparents, 1024 eighth great-grandparents, 2048 ninth great-grandparents. I am just tracking you. How did you come here over the last 400 years? Why are you born now? So 4094 individuals have to react in a certain way for you to sit here, correct? Correct? 4094 individuals over the last 400 years, 12 generation have to react in a certain way. I think you are top geeks, right? So what do you call algorithm or whatever you call, so you are sitting here. The reason we have to understand is, in my personal opinion, our generation is one of the most poorest in terms of traveling and reading. Because you are talking of fake and inaccurate information. Why? Because traveling doesn't mean boarding a flight and landing somewhere. Air miles is not traveling. Traveling is being there. Your grandparents and great-grandparents are fully present. They pick up that environmental cues in a village. Sun, wind, water, the Panja Bhuta they'll pick. They knew accurately when the rains will come, when the sowing has to happen, when the crop has to harvest. So lesser traveling, lesser air miles, but they are traveling more. The sense of innate intelligence. So you cannot give them a false information. Your great-grandparents will never fall prey to a false information. Because their mind is so sharp, they are picking up cues everywhere. And to the dot, I remember my grandfather, if my buffalo and our cow is pregnant at our village farm, my grandfather used to say the exact date he will say, this is the date the calf will be born. And he will say, if it's a male calf, it will be 7 days late. If it is a female calf, it will be 7 days more. To that degree, Panchanka, with respect to the moon, he will calculate. Do you think your mathematical model can do that now? 100% no. So, our generation has become an airmail generation. Go there and everywhere we are in a busy, and then we don't read. It just something comes in WhatsApp and clickbait. You just see it, your mind goes through a pattern, and psychology might have a lot of terms. So what has happened? Deepfake, false information is gaining ground. Because you and me don't have the patience without a cell phone away from you and me and understanding what it is. So it will only become more, it is not going to become less. So that we have to understand. Because we are becoming an impatient generation. Let us acknowledge the fact. Tomorrow, somebody cannot come and say, don't worry guys, so take time to read it and be patient so that this false information will go on its own. 50 years later, somebody sitting in IIT Chennai campus, false information and fake news will be the number one. Wars will be there. Fourth World War or Third World War might have happened. And country's economy might collapse because of that. So that's a big challenge for us right now. How to reverse it? One option countries always resort to is regulation. Okay, let us regulate. Let us regulate or let us tighten the laws. Oh, you put a deep fake image of, if they put a deep fake image of you and me, nobody cares. Rashmika Mandana, everybody cares. And suddenly they say, how dare you put a deep fake about Rashmi Mandana? How dare you put it? And suddenly everybody becomes crazy and they say, we would immediately bring a law. Or maybe Amitabh Bachchan recently, they'll become so excited, they say, oh, it is happening. Now we have to understand, this is happening for a common man. The media doesn't talk about it. For a common man, for a common girl, I know the marriages are getting stopped because of a deep fake thing. In my generation, it was a college photo morphing. Somebody will go on a tour, and girl and boy will be standing in a line. So all these panchayats we have done. And they put one chain, they say, how dare, 10 years back you were standing with that boy near that waterfall, so marriage broken. So that is also a deep fake. And now it has gone more AI level where it is exactly like something. So only option we can solve, my personal opinion, more than regulation, more than tightening the laws is, our generation has to become very aware of what is happening around us. That is the only solution system. And we have to slow our mind little bit less. The speed in which you are processing, your brain is processing, it is only operating with a pattern. It is not thinking, it is operating with a pattern. And especially IIT Chennai, the day you realize it, I think we will live a good life. Your mind is going through a pattern. It is picking up some information, it is going back, the neurons is getting fired 10 years back, 12 years back. It finds a pattern, it tells you, this guy is bad, this guy is good, this guy looks like this, he is harmful. So slow it down. Yoga is one. Meditation is one. Breathing is one. And being aware of who you are any time around you is one. So that is the only solution. It might look slightly unorthodox. What is this guy sitting here and talking? He should have talked about regulation. Today there is a big fight happening in Gemini. There is a fight that is happening. Rajiv Chandrasekharji has given a big statement. It is violating Section 3 of, there is a big expert sitting here in the front row. They all contribute to the government's policy making. I know for a fact many professors here are some of the best in computer science. They sit in some of the top boards of our country. But do you think that is a solution? I don't know. And China tried doing things in the American elections. Computers hacked Democratic Party. We all have seen the story. And cyber espionage is a big thing now. But for a person to read something against other person, probably slow it down the thinking. Take a moment of breath. Realize it's a false news, then you don't put that share and like and retweet. Moment it comes down, am I a jobless fellow to put a fake image of Rashmika Mandana if I don't get like? Since everybody forwards, everybody likes, everybody retweets, oh, let me put one more deep fake image of some other actor. That is how jobless fellow do. Now when the retweets, likes and everything comes down, because the society is becoming very conscious, then who is jobless to put a deep fake image? So this is my answer. Not sure whether it is orthodox or unorthodox, but this has come to my mind right now.
Thank you, sir.